Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanam Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tatvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namam. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha, Utpatti Prakarana. In this stage, the story of Karkati continues. Karkat word is not a good word. When you collect all the garbage of your house, along with the roaches and ants and whatever, and put it in one storage, that's called Karkat. But here, the storyline, it becomes a personality, Karkat. Symbolic of mala, gross impurities. Your personality is like a house. Many times, many things you are handling it, instead of properly disposing them, you dump them into the unconscious without resolving them. And that plays the role of Karkati. The same Karkati in the storyline practices austerity. Each time we say practices austerity simply means good aspect within you and negative aspect, higher and lower. Both are possible on the basis of repeated effort. If you repeatedly do the effort of being miserable, then even in most prosperous conditions, being miserable will be very easy. Because that tendency to be miserable has practiced austerity. And it has gained the boon of Brahma. The boon of Brahma is a law behind the world, law of causation. Likewise, if you practice positively, in spite of various challenges that take your mind, drive your mind into negativity, in spite of it, despite all that, go to satsanga, repeat divine name, dance with the music of kirtan. Allow the joyous aspect to practice its austerity. Then what will happen? Even in adverse situations, what seems like terrible situations, you remain untouched. Like the sky, untouched by clouds. And you emerge after the adversity has gone, you emerge brighter than before. And when you later write your biography, you thank God for giving you that adversity. Because they become your spicy story. How did you face that adversity? No one writes about how did I face my prosperity. So keep that in view. So in the storyline, that impurity aspect was first very gross, gigantic force. Did austerity and became like a needle. Needle means now the impurity exists. First it exists as a mala, gross impurity. Next it exists in your subconscious. Subconscious is within your head, you see that. It doesn't require big space. So now the impurity becomes like a needle, or call it like a virus. And its operation is more powerful. Nevertheless, the spirit of impurity remains thirsty. Negativity doesn't have its satisfaction. It has another sickness with it. It doesn't know satisfaction. Negativity is not the resolution to life. Positivity has its perfect fulfillment through enlightenment. The negativity cannot. So those subtle points behind it. Same, having recognized this error, the same energy that was gross impurity became subtle impurity, now became a judgmental impurity. It allows your mind to see what is wrong and what is right, what is evil, what is good. And in a storyline, Karkati gains that type of power that she will continue to eat all types of that she wanted to eat, impurities. But Brahma made a condition. You cannot digest those who are enlightened. So prepare a list of questions to check whether whatever you are eating by mistake is not enlightened. If they answer the questions correctly, don't touch them. But if they don't, you go after them. So that's how the yoga was, that spices up a story, spices up philosophy, so that you are listening to what happened to that Karkati. Now in this storyline, Karkati, who is now enlightened, encounters a king and his minister. Early in the morning, she feels a little hungry, wants a breakfast. And she goes after two handsome and strong personalities, lot of meat in them. But she remembered Brahma's words. So she asked questions. First one to answer is his minister. Both are enlightened personalities. And that minister is still in this context. All the question answers is only meant to bring Vedantic knowledge to the listeners, whoever is listening to this story. That's the purpose behind the whole. What one must understand in order to be liberated. Question: what is that atom which is tasteless and yet the very essence of sweetness? Atom term here, simply figurative way of saying what is the subtlest. Because in science, when we talk about something very subtle, subtlest, then we bring the word atom. And you must realize, very coincidentally, Sanskrit word is Atman. What is that atom, that Atman? The self. Self is subtlest. Answer is, the self is beyond the senses and therefore tasteless. Try to understand. Self means I am, each one of you. Who are you? Your hand will say, I am. But neither the hand nor your body. This is all perishable. Who are you? Wise answer will start. I'm the mind, my will, my desires, all these. But these are your possessions. My mind, my desires, my intellect, my ego. But who are you? There's some idea of yourself. When you go to sleep, all that you call my, they move away. You are left without ego, without intellect. Are you in a state of misery having left all this? Not at all. Day by day, you do the same thing. You don't enjoy the world. 25, 24, 7 by 24. So then who am I? Who am I? Who are you? Is the same statement. That who, you have to find what was there when you were in deep sleep. First point, the real I am is not the mind, not the ego, not the senses. Your real I am is not in the terms of time, space, causation. If you have difficulty in understanding, I will bring you modern technology. Look at your iPhone. Ask your iPhone, who are you? Your iPhone has given you so much information. You have the whole world in your fingertips. But iPhone is just with you in your pocket. And all that information that has come, they're not with it. It's only a channel to give you all that. That iPhone is completely untouched. And when anything you saw through the iPhone, what space did that news, what space did it occupy? You say the atom of that iPhone, the atomic space, the big news you received from Alaska, saw strange creatures right in your bedroom. If you follow a similar simile, what you are is not iPhone. Your real I am, called Chaitanya, pure awareness, consciousness. That's called God, that's called Brahman, the absolute. That's the only reality. There are not many iPhones. But is the only one, the absolute reality. Sun is only one, but reflected suns are countless. Brahman is only one, but all different individuals, they are in the realm of projections. So that Brahman is described here. What is that atom which is tasteless? See, our iPhone is tasteless until your finger starts bringing out tastes. Can have practical taste. Check with a restaurant and they'll show you all their tasty dishes. Or you can have emotional taste. You can have taste of understanding. Taste means all types of taste. Taste means all that you experience through your senses, through your mind, through your emotions, through your reason. All these behind all this experience, there is a taste involved. And the source of all the taste is your own self. Atmanastu kamaya, for the sake of self, all becomes dear. So ultimately, what you are looking for through all this, the realm of taste, senses, mind, etc., you are looking for discovering your own self in the absolutely, without any illusion. That's what you are looking for. In daily life, you find it when you go to sleep. In a yogic life, you find it when you go to samadhi. In the advanced state, you find it when you are enlightened. So you have to, it's your choice, whichever you choose. So, don't let your taste stay in the world of time, space. Even that taste that you enjoy in this world is trickling down from the absolute. It is not, senses don't bring any taste. See, when you are experiencing through the senses, I'll give a simple illustration. There are times when you are sitting on your chair, watching people pass by, so involved with yourself that you don't see anything. Someone asks, did you see my friend passing by? He just went that way. I said, no. Why? He looks into your eyes. Are you blind? I said, no, I'm not blind. But my mind wasn't there. So you cannot perceive things by the senses unless the mind connects to your senses. And you cannot complete your perception unless intellect lights up your mind. Because intellect evaluates what you are perceiving. And if you follow the sequence, the source behind all your taste, all your knowledge, all your perception, the source is that Atman, the self, the absolute. Not the phony I am, the real I am. The self is beyond the senses, therefore tasteless. But it is the source of all joy, the very embodiment of bliss. That self called Satchidananda, absolute existence, absolute consciousness, absolute joy. All sense perceptions are sustained by the bliss of the self. Real joy is not there, but source of every sense of joy that you have in the object of the world, that comes from your own self. That requires a little mathematics to understand. Let me give you that. First point you must understand, happiness doesn't come from objects. If it were so, there would be tremendous business. Send me a house of happiness. Why not a ton of happiness? Whatever, say for example, you are finding great happiness through a particular object, through a particular relationship, through a personality, whatsoever, whoever may be the outer source giving you the happiness. In the morning, you found great happiness. By the afternoon, say to the person, go to hell. If the person did not match up with your expectations. So where was happiness? When you found happiness, how is it the object that you liked, every part of the object was fluttering with something joyous? It is because, to put the story short, whatever you bring to your vision, bring close to your range of perception, whatever you bring it within the range of your perception, what happens? Unawares, you are wiping the object with your subtle desire. Vasana veils the object. Now, if the vasana has created a special shine within the object, and when you look at the object, you are seeing your own face in it. And what you like most is your own self, the self. So, if you develop that type of illusion, that how wonderful is this object? I can never live without it. I can never be separated from it. And then there comes a time when your vasana, your subtle desire doesn't match up. Then you withdraw the polish. And now look at it. What a terrible mistake did I make. And so forth. I will not give you too much on that. So therefore, where is the taste? Taste is not in the objects. Taste is in your own inner self that is spilling out through your mental process. That inner self within you is the self in all. A reflected sun in a jar may seem to be confined to the jar. Call that reflected self the inner self. Try to understand what is that inner self. Is it in the jar? It looks like within the jar. But the reality of it is the sun. And the sun is only one. So, everyone goes after their inner self. That inner self is the absolute self. And that understanding has to enter. That's the true purpose of religion, spirituality, philosophy. and for living a life of purpose and real success. The self is the essence of all perceptions, the essence of all sights, the essence of all tastes, the sweet essence behind all that exists. Next question. What is that which lasts a moment but yet contains millions of ages within itself? What is that which is inactive and yet is the basis of all activities? To understand that point, what is that which lasts a moment? In other words, one side there is only a moment. On the other side, millions of ages. How can you understand that? Very simple illustration. You go to sleep, slip into sleep. And when you slip into it, you don't know when you sleep. Time is not with your mind. But now you have entered into a dream. While in dream, you became a little philosopher. Are you giving a professor of philosophy teaching your students? This world, you never know, it's a beginningless world. Millions of years have gone on for God to create it. All the million years talk. How long did it take for you to get into it? A moment. Figure that out. And to make it easier to understand with modern technology, you go after Google. One little tip. And Google's out. Millions of informations for you. From one side, it was only one moment. Another, file within file. Document within the documents. If that can be understood there, let's realize your own personality is million times greater than the wonder presented by your computer. So therefore, soul experiences led by ignorance, world within the world. How many? There's no limit to it. Dream within dream. So what's that which lasts a moment? All this is momentary. That's what it says. Momentary. All is perishable, simple word. When they say perishable, they ask, how long does it take to perish? Moment. And even though it is momentary, it contains millions of ages. You have not attained enlightenment. If you are the reflected sun, think of the predicament of the reflected sun. Just to know about the vessel in which the reflected sun is and count the fishes in the water. That will take a long time. And with this, at this rate, if you are introduce the reflected sun, you study the world, universe. It's impossible. Impossible. But tell the reflected sun, know who you are. Find the I am. The answer is, I am the sun. If you are the sun, then all this countless illuminations and countless worlds that seem to be real from a limited point of view, all that vanishes into nothing. All that becomes little. All the knowledge that you can gain is completely fulfilled by knowing who am I. That's a simple point to understand. All the knowledge, that's what the soul is doing from the very time you are born, you are trying to gather knowledge. And from incarnation to incarnation, go on gathering knowledge. If you could continue for millions of lives, all the knowledge will not be gathered. But if you attain enlightenment, I am Brahman, then all the knowledge that the mind goes after, it becomes like a little dream, a dream puddle. And when you muddle with the puddle, you get out of it. What is that which is inactive? Action implies, or manasa, vacha, karmana. When you start thinking, there is action, thoughts. Speak, there's action. And then you are doing action with your hands. So action has 3 stages: thinking, speaking, acting. But all this is not needed for the self. Think of the self as the sun. Sun doesn't have to convince anybody, I am the sun. It doesn't need neither the mind, nor the intellect, nor the senses. It doesn't depend upon anything. So, similarly, your source of your own awareness is like the sun. When you are in deep sleep, you are not needing your mind, you are not needing your intellect. When you are in samadhi, same thing. And in God realization, you have to understand the same way. All this illusion moves away. So the self is absolutely inactive, actionless, karma-less. No karma, no action. No www. Who, where, and why. That's the word. Always you want to know, who am I? Where am I? Why am I? But all this W business moves away. That's called inactive, absolutely. The self transcends time. Time and space are like drifting clouds before the vast sky of the self. Time and space are like dream experiences arising within the mind of a dreamer. Understand, time and space is illusion. Think it in from different angles. Think of your term space. Physical space seems so big. But think of how much space the sun's rays travel to reach your eyes. Look up to the sky and say, twinkle, twinkle, little star. But they are not twinkling stars. Some of them are bigger than our sun. And their light is reaching to your eyes after many years. And still more wonderful, to your eyes there is a twinkle star. In reality, the star was dead long ago. But why are you seeing it? Because the light that came from that has taken a long time. So I've given a physical illustration. Come to psychological illustration. Time is more mental than physical from experience point of view. If you are in suspense, passing one night will take away the blackness of your hairs. You, with such in suspenseful state, time becomes sluggish. We experience many, many days within a little short period of time. In a joyous conditions, many days pass, but this is spring pass away, after hardly enjoying it. So, time and space experience is based on your mind. And a mind is not an absolute reality, it is fluctuating substance. And when enlightenment comes, you don't need your mind. Just like when in sleep, you don't need your mind. So as long as you are needing the mind and working through it, there is experience of time, space, causation, this vast world with all the history and geography and all the knowledge, like a vast ocean. What is the sustainer of seer, seen, and sight? Relative consciousness is described in three ways. To give you a simple way to understand, when you are dreaming, dream experience is your relative consciousness. It is not reality. But while you are dreaming, you have no doubt this is your reality. And while you are dreaming, what has happened? Three things are completely wrong. The subject of the dream, what you think yourself you are, the subject, that's not real. You are not involved in anything. You are lying on the bed. You pay your debts in your dream and feel you have become free from problems. But that's not real. And then the dream world is not real. No matter how great and unending the world may seem to be. And your dream experiences of pleasure and pain, in your dream you found a treasure or won a lottery, who knows what. But you didn't find anything. Out of your dream world, you can't get even a needle point of substance. Same applies in your daily life, in this practical world. And that you have become mature enough to allow your mind to think of it. If you are too busy involved, you are ignoring a profound reality. And what is that? When you think of yourself, who am I? Have I attained success? Etc., etc. Try to understand that What you think, who you are, your identity, all that is not reality. The reality within you is you don't know your reality. Just like in childhood, you didn't know who you were unless people said, this is your mother, this is your father. Similar situation stays all the time. Who are you? And you begin to know better of yourself as you practice, as you enrich yourself with spirituality. You begin to develop a feeling that God is within me and I'm a ray of God. So there is a whole process to discover who am I. Until then, your I is not real. Next point, the world you are experiencing. That world is completely illusory. You have to be a little mature to understand that. You are believing your eyes. Why don't you believe the eyes of birds? They see differently. World experience depends upon your senses. And your senses are not the finality. It is not the basis of real proof. Your own senses can become sometimes variable. Put in a simple way, to all human beings, the way the world appears as real. From a profound point of view, it is because of the way your eyes are fashioned, the way your ears are fashioned. But your eyes and ears and all the functions of the senses have their little secret in your brain lobes. A little change there. In other words, all that you are experiencing is a kind of computer show. Play of your nerves. In brief, the world you experience is not real. If you don't want to go too much in that way, use simple rationality. Look at the sky. Poets sing how wonderful. But what are we looking at? The vastness beyond your imagination. But since your eyes can't go beyond certain limit in its vision, your limitation of your eye towers over you in the form of the blue sky. Figure that out. The ignorance within you becomes a very calming umbrella. So neither you are real as you are at present, nor the world you are experiencing is real. The earth is not so quiet, but in your perception you are quite relaxed. But you are actually in a spacecraft, tumbling into space with terrible speed. And you know why it is tumbling? Its stomach is grumbling. So neither you are real nor this world. And your experiences of pleasure and pain all your experiences, this is what I wanted. This is not really what you wanted. This is why I got it. After such a long time, a dream has become fulfilled. So this is another illusion. This is called triad, seer, seen, and sight. Seer is you. Seen means the world around you. Sight is your experience, what you are experiencing, pleasure and pain. All the three are not real. If you continue to crave for these three, called Krishna, craving has three fingers. You always are never satisfied with yourself. Something you have to have. Craving for making yourself the best you could be. That's an endless project. Craving to straighten the world you live in. That's an endless project. And craving to control acts of God, hurricanes, cyclones, hurricanes, and so forth, earthquakes, tsunamis. So that craving haunts every soul. Trishna, threefold craving. And the cure for this is to understand that each of the three is the self, yourself in the absolute. Each of the three, just like in dream, you are the one lying on the bed. From your one personality, all the three has come in your dream. When you wake up, where do you find? You are only one. It's an illustration. Likewise, when you become profoundly enlightened, your mind does not develop that illusion. Oh God, give me a wonderful body forever. Chiranjeevi, live forever. Give me a wonderful house that will never fade away. That's the mind's craving. But that cannot be fulfilled. But all that you want to be fulfilled is possible by realizing the ever-present reality. Ever-present reality in your dream, the dream subject, you on the bed. The dream world, you on the bed. Pleasure and pain, you on the bed. Use this simile in a broader way. You, Brahman, God the Absolute. The world, God the Absolute. Pleasure, pain, God the Absolute. When therefore, if you were to bring in your heart a spiritual movement that leads you to recognize divine within yourself, divine in the world, and divine in the acts of God. And if you follow that, then what's happening? The Trishna is turning into Krishna. God in you is Krishna. Krishna. Instead of Krishna, triad, God in all. And that type of understanding is the ultimate goal of life. Your awareness of yourself as I am, that am I. awareness of the world. It's God's glory is spreading all over the world. There's nothing other than God. Another way, I am all this. And then there is a question of any experience can be described as joy, ananda, satchidananda. If you come to full grasp of that, then that's your goal of life. That's nirvana, liberation. But the process is with patience, bring integration, integral yoga in daily life. The self is the basis of the triad of seer, seen and sight. It is the indivisible, immutable self that becomes a transient subject running after illusory objects. The real I am in you doesn't need anything. The sun doesn't need anything from those little buckets. But if you have bucket buddhi, bucket intellect, then there is constant need, harassed by so many desires, so many karmas. Therefore, bring the whisper of this divine truth that I am indivisible, not divided up in the sky, in here, in the 50% there, 10% here. No such division in God. You can't divide the sky. So indivisible, immutable. For God, there is no breaking of news. It's the absolute. But the same truth, due to ignorance, is viewed by every individual that this is me, the body, mind set. Then that self that is conditioned is called jiva, the individual soul. That individual soul goes through all the birth, death, and all miseries of the world. But when you go through a spiritual and enlightened process, through your sadhana, through your integral yoga, you realize, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the absolute self. In that realization, all experiences through your mind and senses are cut out. They are illusions. As if you wake up. Again, don't take it literally. What it happens, you become inwardly enlightened. To put in a simple way, how do you deal with children? Children, you give them little toys. Here's the monkey, here's the bear. And the children look at you and they think, you are also same like them. So bring the bear, the nose of the father, kiss it, father. And father does it. Like the two sets of mind. Think of the mind of the father, the mind of the child. Enlightened personality is like the father's mind. Unenlightened are like children. They go together, but they are far apart. And both potentialities are there in every individual. You can stay a kid or can become the father. And with this I'm concluding. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.